All right, here we are in our second video of lesson 1 from module 5, and we're looking at our hierarchy a little bit more, and we see the guitar here. All right, according to this hierarchy, the most specific name for a guitar is guitar, but we could call it a strummed string instrument, a string instrument, or just a musical instrument, right? According to the hierarchy, what are the other names for a clarinet? What are the other names for a clarinet according to the hierarchy? It is also a woodwind instrument. It is also a wind instrument. And it is also a musical instrument. Do you see all of those different names of the groups that a clarinet is in, right? The property of musical instruments is that they make musical sounds. That's what makes them musical instruments. Every object listed below musical instruments in the hierarchy, therefore, must make musical sounds. String instruments are made of wood. Is a violin made of wood? How do you know? If string instruments are made of wood, then a violin must be made of wood because all string instruments are made of wood. See how that works? If every string instrument is made of wood, then a property of all string instruments is that they are made of wood. So here we have another word. In our last video, we learned the word hierarchy. Now we're working on the word property. Okay, and we're using property in another way than maybe you've used it before. Like my parents own this piece of property that we live on, right? That's how we use the word property. But now we're using the word property to mean something that is true for everything in a category. Okay, so all string instruments are made of wood. So the property of string instruments is they are made of wood. Okay, got that? Is every musical instrument made of wood? And how do you know? Well, it's possible that every string instrument is made of wood, but we don't know that. We only know that all string instruments are made of wood because that is their property, right? And not all musical instruments are string instruments. Okay, does that make sense? So we're looking at the property of string instruments and we're not applying it to all musical instruments. Sasha's violin has a star painted on it. Do you think that all violins have stars painted on them? Yeah, probably not, right? Is having a star painted on it a property of violins? No. In order for a characteristic to be a property, it has to be true about all violins. And we only know that Sasha's violin has a star painted on it. So a property, oops, sorry about that. A property, I'm just going to write prop so it doesn't take me too long. A property is a characteristic or something about it, right? Sorry about the barking dog. A I'm having trouble spelling now. Characteristic. Something about it, right? That is shared by all, shared by all. So that means that every one of them has it. So every string instrument is made of wood. Okay, that is a property. Okay. Now let's use that a little bit more. So having a star painted on is not a property of violins, right? Having a star painted on a violin is an attribute of a particular violin. Having a star painted on is sometimes, but not always, a characteristic of a violin, okay? But a property is when it's shared by all of them, and that's the word we're really working on, okay? Let's just clean that off because that's kind of ugly. Okay, there we go. Does this hierarchy tell you everything about musical instruments? Not everything, right? Because not every musical instrument is here on this hierarchy. There's no electronic instruments. There's no ukulele. There's a lot of instruments missing from here. They just basically gave us one example from each group, right? Okay, so how could this hierarchy be helpful in learning about or choosing musical instruments? Hmm. Yeah. What if you wanted to play a musical instrument that you strummed? Then you could look in this category. Or a musical instrument that you blew into, then you would look at these. Or a percussion, right? So there's families of instruments. We build hierarchies in math as well because we have precise definitions and can make statements that are true. Okay, so let me show you something else here. Okay, I don't know why that's not trying. I want to show you the whole thing. Okay, well, there's a B up there. All right, so what is true about all triangles? Can you put that in Edpuzzle number 1? What is true about all triangles? You are correct. All triangles have 3 sides, right? So a property of triangles is having 3 sides. All right. Let's think about properties that are true of all right triangles. And let's think about some characteristics of this triangle. Triangle ABC, right? Triangle ABC has a right angle. So having a right angle is a property of right triangles because right triangles have a right angle. An attribute of triangle ABC is that it's taller than it is wide. Do you see that? It's a very tall triangle. This is not a property because it's not true of all triangles, right? It's just this particular triangle. So an attribute is that its vertices are A, B, and C. Okay? So there's another word, attributes, right? Attributes are characteristics or things about a particular shape or a particular attributes. Make sure I spell it correctly. So the violin had a star on it. This triangle is extra tall. This triangle is ABC. Those are attributes, but they're not properties because properties would be all triangles. All triangles have 3 sides. All triangles have 3 angles. See that? Okay. And let me show you something else. There we go. All right, you have this in your book, and this is your collection of shapes that you're going to use. But before you cut them out and start sorting them, I want to show you some particular shapes. Okay, and you can look at your book at the same time. Let me show you this one here. Okay, do you see these marks on figure B? All right, these marks show that these 2 sides are parallel and these 2 sides are parallel. Okay, so they almost look like arrowheads, right? That shows that the opposite sides are parallel of that shape. And then I also want to highlight I. It's like it won't go down far enough for me. Where is shape I? Oh, it's right here. Sorry. Kind of looking at it. These two lines, that means in geometric language that they are the same size. Okay, so this one, and we just put it on there to show they are the same size. Just like here, you can see these two also have those parallel line arrowheads, right? That means that they're parallel to each other. They're going to go on forever and never touch. Okay, awesome. All right, so you're going to cut out your figures. And I'm sorry I don't have the page number, but it's right there at the beginning of your book. You're going to cut them out and we're going to sort. So you're going to need to pause the video so that you can cut them out. And let's go ahead and start in the next video once you have those cut out. Okay? All right. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.